it going, guys? It's the Pixelated Pumpkin, and in today's video, as you can see, we are at the Spirit Halloween Flagship store. They got 500 in line. That's right, perfect 500, baby. But anyways, let's go inside and take a look at the brand new Spirit Halloween 2024 animatronics and theme. And here we are inside the Carnival. How awesome is this? Now, unfortunately, I will have to do a voiceover for this video. It was so loud in there, you couldn't even hear the animatronics. Anyways, here's our first guy, Ghostface. Now, we have had a few Ghostface animatronics in the past, but this is for sure one of the better ones. Originally, I wasn't too thrilled with this guy. I thought he looked a little bit disproportionate in his stock photos. I wasn't a big fan of how shiny his outfit was because it really doesn't look like that in the movie. But honestly, this thing turned out to be really cool in person. I definitely like it a lot better than I originally did. I'm still not the biggest fan of the head tilt, and the knife stabbing motion, while very violent, still feels a little robotic. But overall, this is actually a very solid Ghostface prop, and the ability to switch out the mask and the knife is still pretty neat. Here we have the Ringmaster, possibly one of my favorites for the year now that I got to see him in person. This guy is just something else. Talk about one of the most unique props Spirit Halloween has to offer this year. Having a projector built inside this dude's body is something I never would have thought of in 100 years. This is definitely one of the most creative and innovative usages of a projector on a prop we've ever seen yet, and I think this has potential to be reused for props to come. I think the ghostly skulls that float on this guy's stomach is so cool looking, and just the character of the Ringmaster in general is really cool. His voice is great, his look is great, his animation is great, and his special projector gimmick is awesome. I absolutely love it. Overall, this guy just has to be one of the coolest props Spirit Halloween has made in a while. Seriously innovative stuff here, and I really want to see more like this in the future. And while the Ringmaster might not be the most scary prop this year, he is certainly one of the most unique, interesting, and innovative props of all time. And I know the projector doesn't look that good in the store, but it's just because it's too bright. I'm sure it looks fantastic in the dark. That's it for the archway animatronic, so let's take a look at the archway itself. I absolutely love these synchronized bulbs. How cool is that? Here's the back of the archway now, and take a look at this cool poster they have hanging up here. You have all the animatronics on it and little QR codes. And behind Ghostface, we have a Henry Hustle poster. Why Henry Hustle? I have no idea, but he is certainly a cool clown, and this is a cool poster. Overall, this is just such an awesome archway theme. I'm actually a really big fan of it. I think the colors really pop here, as well as the bulb lighting is just so cool. The sign itself, welcome to the Carnival, is awesome. We got two great animatronics here, and the Jack the Reaper with the light up eye is also awesome. Moving into the theme, we have the Spirit Halloween's Fortune Booth ISE part here. We'll get into that Fortune Booth in just a second. But the animatronics featured on this side of the ISE are Towering Tallulah and Dark Princess. Starting with Dark Princess here, we have possibly one of the strangest and creepiest looking jump scare props Spirit Halloween has given us this year. But I'm not complaining because I love the strange, dark, and mysterious. And I think they executed it really well on this prop. My only complaint with Dark Princess is that it kind of feels like a whole bunch of different props thrown together. The wings really don't match here, but I think they're a welcome addition regardless. I love the face, though it isn't as cool in person as I was kind of hoping it was. I really think the sculpt for the face should have been more detailed. It's very smooth looking in person, which kind of takes away from the realism. But other than that, I think this is a great, simple little jump scare prop with a very, very scary and cool design. Here is Towering Tallulah, another Mr. Dark reskin, and in terms of Mr. Dark reskins, this one is for sure the worst. I think the phrase is pretty cool on it, but the design is really lacking, and it feels like a very generic witch. I don't even think the face on this one looks very witch-like, to be honest with you. It almost looks like a goblin, and not a really scary or good-looking one at that. Overall, I just really think Towering Tallulah was an unnecessary one, and definitely unnecessary to have in stores. I think if this was an online only, I wouldn't care as much, but the fact that Rick Ratman or Shirley Stab could have been in this one's place just really pisses me off, to be honest with you.
Now for the Spirit Fortunes booth itself, I think this is a great photo op piece here. It seems like they're doing the photo ops a little bit more this year, which I think is cool. They really never integrated one into a theme quite like this before, and I think they did a good job. Choosing a fortune booth for something like this definitely fits with the whole carnival vibe, and I think the crystal ball thingy on this one looks really cool actually, with that cool sort of swirling gold effect inside of it. Really great stuff there. Overall, this part of the ISE and the two animatronics here, besides Tallulah, everything is great in my opinion. Here we are in the Wheel of Fate side of the ISE, and our first animatronic here is Max Straw, and I have to say, I'm actually quite disappointed by this guy. He is a lot smaller than I thought he would be. I thought he was going to be one of those props that was just huge in person, but he's actually a lot smaller than the average prop, which I was really surprised to see. I think he's just an okay scarecrow with a very unique face, but the face really doesn't work all that great for me. I can see a lot of people liking this guy, but just the simple head turning is not enough for this guy to be a really cool scarecrow in my opinion. I think you're better off going to Big Lots this year and getting the one with the crows circling around its head, because I think it's about the same price, if not a little bit cheaper. And honestly, as far as scarecrows go, Max Straw is definitely not one of my favorites, unfortunately. This is Giant Death Ray, or Spirit's first attempt at what I would like to call a Giga prop. This guy is 10 feet tall, so it's Spirit's tallest prop this year by a landslide. This thing definitely sticks out in the store, and I think it looks really cool for the most part. I still am not the biggest fan of the face on this one. It looks a little bit too zombie-ish rather than alien for my liking, but I think the lights on the body are honestly awesome here, and I like how they sort of synchronize and animate, like they flow up and down his body. That's really, really cool looking. The only thing I wish was he had lights on his legs as well, but other than that, Giant Death Ray is a really cool alien. It's pretty cool how he has animation as well. I think the head movement on this guy is pretty solid for the most part. I think as far as Giga props go, this is definitely a cool one for sure. Now for the Wheel of Fate booth itself, and this is a great part of the ISE. Better than the Fortune booth? We'll see in a minute. But anyways, of course you could actually spin the Wheel of Fate as I did here. Sorry, now you are dead inside. I sure was dead inside after waiting 5 hours to get into the store. Anyways, I think this is a great part of the ISE. I love, again, how you could spin the wheel. Really cool. The design of the tent as well is awesome, and I love how they have the plushies hanging on the side like they're actual prizes you could win, but no, you gotta pay top dollar for these plushies. I'll also comment about sort of the design philosophy they used for this old school carnival aesthetic. The color palette and the design features I think are great. It's spot on and really cool. Moving to the last part of the front theme, we are at the Down the Duck game. Here we have Art the Clown and the Cremator. And starting off with the Cremator, I have to be honest, I am still not thrilled by this guy, like, at all. It is just a really unimpressive and boring design in my opinion. The flame effect really isn't that great on this guy. I've seen it done so much better in so many other places before. And just again, the design is boring and unrealistic, and it's literally just another cloaked Reaper basically, with no skull face. It's just a cloak. And speaking about the skull on this thing, it is way too small and just honestly really dumb looking. It's very plasticky. So overall, the Cremator, in my opinion, just kinda sucks. Here we have another licensed prop being Art the Clown, and this guy looks fantastic in person. I really like the animation he has. The little hand wave he does is very creepy indeed, and the face is very accurate to the movie. I have to say this guy is definitely better than the Party City one in my opinion. I could safely say that now after seeing both of them in person. And once again, for accuracy, this one just knocks it out of the ballpark. I think it's really cool how he also comes included with his sunflower glasses. Overall, this is a great prop, and I'm really, really happy to see an indie movie getting some representation at a store like this. It's rare to see, but I'm really happy an independent film has its own Halloween animatronic now. That is really cool in my opinion. And the last prop a part of the Down the Duck game is Sitting Scarecrow, which is a classic prop you can't go wrong with. I have nothing bad to say about this guy here. Fantastic jump scare, super nice, super simple, and super great. And this is actually the only returning prop set up in stores this year, which I think is awesome, meaning the new props get all the spotlight, which is just great in my opinion. The less returning props from previous years set up in stores, the better in my opinion. And now to talk about the down the duck game, part of the theme itself, which is definitely my favorite part of the front theme. This is just awesome. I love how you have the ducks spinning around in the background there. That's really cool, and the design on them is really creepy. Really great stuff there. I also love the blaster prop activators. That is just so smart and so cool in my opinion. They look awesome, and I love how they light up when you actually click the button on it. Those are definitely going to be a hot ticket item at the ISE sale this year. I honestly think they should just sell them as prop activators in the store. I know they're not the most practical prop activators for actual displays, but I think they're still so awesome and so cool looking regardless. And the fact that you can actually aim them and move them around, that is just so cool as well. Really awesome stuff there. And for the down the duck booth itself, it fits in with the rest of it. The design aesthetic here is perfectly executed. And again, I love those bulb lights you have lining this thing. Overall, the down the duck game is definitely the best part of the front theme in my opinion. Here we are in the back theme, and honestly, I don't even know if I can call the back theme anymore, because it's more like a full double-sided walk-around theme, which is really interesting this year. This is the first year they've done anything like this, and I'm not sure whether I love it yet. I guess we'll find out. Anyways, here we have this side of it, which I'll call the big clown one, because you got the clown on top there. Anyways, we'll start off with Wanda Webworth. Wanda is great. Let me just get that out of the way first. I think this is such a unique and creative animatronic and a very, very cool character design, but I do have some problems with it, more than I originally did after seeing it in person, and I have to say I don't think she's my favorite from Spirit Halloween this year anymore, but she's definitely up there. Overall, once again, Wanda is really, really unique and really creative, and definitely the scariest prop from Spirit Halloween this year. Even if you don't have a fear of spiders, I think seeing this spider monster in person is sure to give you quite the chill up your spine. As for my problems now, I just think Wanda is a little bit too small, at least her main body. I think if it was just a little bit bigger, it would have solved some of the problems I have with this thing. The legs are just way too freakishly long and look like chicken legs, to be honest. And I think they kind of look like they're just propping up her body rather than actually being attached to her as a part of her body. So they just look a little strange. But overall, besides her being just a little bit too small for my liking, I think this is still a great prop and definitely one of the most creative character designs we've seen from Spirit Halloween in a good while. Cotton Candy Dan, the favorite clown from this year, and while I still really like this guy's concept, and I think it's definitely a unique clown for sure, I'm not really as hyped about him as I was originally. For one big reason, he just doesn't look that great in person. Whatever they did to him in the stock photos and his website video clearly was not made for the final prop, because the final prop just kind of looks plasticky. I still really love this guy though, don't get me wrong. I think the lighting on it is great, especially the purple lighting inside the cotton candy tub. I think for the overall design, it's still cool. I wish there was more detail on this guy though, for sure. It's really lacking in that department. The clothes are just as clean as can be. I really feel like they should have given him cotton candy puffs all over his body, like he got it all over himself. That would have been cool. And I'm still split whether I like the skeletal look of the face or not. But overall, Cotton Candy Dan is still cool in my opinion, and definitely a great clown from Spirit Halloween. Going from one very creative clown prop to one not so creative clown prop, at least in terms of the visual design, we have Nibbles. Now, before I talk about this guy being a technical marvel, at least in terms of Halloween animatronics, this guy's design is very weak in my opinion. It is just a very standard looking SVI clown with not much to do that makes it stick out. And at this point, I'm so used to seeing clowns like this, I just can't even bother to care anymore. So enough of talking about this guy's design, let's talk about this guy's technical achievements, the motion tracking technology. This is really awesome. As you'll see, we have Joseph Mayan from Spooky News demonstrating it for me in this video here. This is just such a cool idea, and I think in execution, it turned out pretty much how I expected, which is, while it's not that great, I still think it achieves the effect pretty well. I wasn't expecting it to be perfect by any means, but I think for the most part, they achieved it really well here, and I hope to see more props that do this in the future. The only part about this technology that bothers me is the phrases on this guy, which of course isn't at the fault of the technology, but this guy makes comments about how he has his eye on you, and I think that's just really corny in my opinion. But once again, it is a corny looking clown, so once again, what do I expect for this guy? Anyways, I think the motion tracking is still a really cool feature, and Nibbles, while not being groundbreaking in terms of the design department, the technology department, it certainly is. Now it's time to talk about the tickets side, I guess I'll call it, or big clown side, as I said before, of the back theme. I'm just going to call it the back theme for sake of simplicity. Anyways, this side is honestly a little bit bare. I think it's cool how you have the big clown on top, of course. I really like how that looks, especially with the light up eyes. And I do like the lighting for sure with the bulb lights once again. But inside Wanda's ticket booth, I just feel like you're missing a lot in there. I really think there should have at least been a few fire and ice lights set up inside, just add a little bit more color to the lighting of the theme here. But besides Wanda, it's just a very empty little box. You have those two little posters on the back there. I'm not a big fan of the coloring on them. They're very plain and dry, really. I wish we had more character posters back there. That would have been cool. I think the ticket booth here is also way too big. It takes up basically a giant part of the theme, when I feel like if it was shrunk down a little bit, we could have probably fit one or two more animatronics on either side of it here. Or you could even probably fit like 2 animatronics inside the ticket booth itself, not just Wanda. So I'm a little bit confused why they made it so big when there's so many animatronics in store this year that they could have put in. But again, whatever. I think overall this is a fine side. The clown on top really carries the theming here, but the other side is luckily much more detailed, so let's take a look at that right now. Here is the world famous Sideshow side of the back theme. We have Emily and Victor from Corpse Ride, Barnaby, and Bobby Strings. Let's start with Bobby. Bobby. Has there ever been a prop this divisive before? I'm honestly not sure. Bobby Strings seems to have the whole community split whether he is good or not, and I think I fall into the camp that doesn't think he's good. From the very beginning, even before we heard what this dude sounded like, I was openly critical about how I think it is too cute looking and not scary enough. Just through sheer size of this guy alone, him being that big, I'm starting to think he's a little bit more creepy than I originally determined, but still, I think the face could have looked so much better on this one. It is just way too cute and just cartoony looking. I think if he had hollowed out eyes, that would have been enough. It just sucks because there's so much you could do to make a puppet look creepy and scary, and this guy just does none of it, like, whatsoever. Also, the phrases, yeah, they suck. They really do. It is just so goofy, silly. If there was ever a prop made for little babies, this one is it right here. I just think it is big and dumb looking. I think the concept is fantastic, though, and I really hope we get another chance to see a prop like this in the future that's actually scary this time. But as for it stands right now, Bobby Strings just kinda sucks. Here we have another prop I originally found to be stupid and dumb and just not scary at all. And to be honest with you guys, I kind of feel the same after seeing him in person, but he's definitely grown on me a little bit. I still think Barnaby is kind of a failed execution, and you could do something much more scary with a bear than this. But you'll be happy to hear after seeing him in person, he's definitely grown on me. Not that much, but still, he's grown on me. Barnaby has some great animation. I love the balancing on the ball act. It fits in perfectly with the theme for this year, with it not being a clown, so I have to commend Spirit Halloween for that right there. And I think the design of the mouth is certainly great, though I would have appreciated a lot of blood all over his mouth. As for the bear itself, though, I think the rest of it is just kind of weak. It's not scary, and it looks more like a teddy bear than an actual bear, which it shouldn't be going for. And the eyebrows just look stupid on this guy. It just makes me laugh. I'm sorry, it really does. Overall, I'm not scared of Barney. I think Barnaby is probably the least scary Spirit Halloween animatronic this year besides Bobby Strings, and it's probably my second least favorite prop this year besides Bobby Strings. Can't forget this guy. Here we have Gray Jumping Spider, and what do you want me to say? It is a jumping spider, something we've seen for the past almost 15 years, I want to say. Just gray now. I feel like we've had something similar with this with like the UV jumping spider, which I would have preferred to see got brought back, but whatever. A gray jumping spider. It's a fine color variant, I guess. I think I prefer the brown and black one over this, but it's still cool. Here we have the two best licensed props from this year being Emily and Victor from Corpse Bride. I have to say these both are absolutely astonishing. The blinking, the servo movement in the head, and the side-to-side movement on both of them make such lifelike characters, and that's just their animation. The design of these things look like they were pulled straight out of the movie flawlessly here. I mean, these two are both beautiful. I'll be honest with you guys. It is literally like they just plucked them straight out of the movie and brought them into real life. I definitely prefer Emily over Victor here just because Victor is pretty much Johnny Depp if he was stop motion, so I'm not really sure why people would buy him, at least individually. I know there's going to be a ton of people who buy both of these, but that's almost $600 right there for both. So I have a feeling more people are going to go for just Emily alone. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a whole bunch of extra Victors at the end of the year. Because who just wants to buy Victor, right? Like, Emily, while not being the main character of the movie, is the icon of that movie, right? So I think if Spirit was smart, they'd probably just make Victor an online only. But I have to say, when they're both set up in the store next to each other, it just looks awesome. It's so cool that they put these two on this little stage here, which we'll talk about in a second. Anyways, I think these two are great. Once again, the design is phenomenal along with the animation, and these might be two of the best licensed props of all time. Definitely up there for me. I love Corpse Bride, and these two are awesome. Now let's talk about the theming here, and I think it's great. I'm a huge fan of these rotating spotlights they used on Emily and Victor on the stage. I definitely prefer this side over the other one. It feels a lot more full and stuff. I also love the Funhouse mirrors they used here too. That is just a staple of any carnival, so it's cool that they got included like this right here. So that's all the animatronics, but we're still missing one part of the theme, which is the walkthrough. So let's enter the Funhouse. Alright everybody, finally here is the Funhouse, and let's step inside. Here we go. We got a whole bunch of cool lighting in here, plus mirrors everywhere. This is a heavily mirrored walkthrough. There you could see me. Take a look at the hologram fans for this year. We got Poor George swinging on it, going crazy. Really cool animations this year, I must say. Poor George is awesome. You got Jack the Reaper on there. Of course, like every year, there's always a Jack the Reaper on one of those hologram fans. And our last clown on it is a special one, being Silent and Deadly. This took me for a surprise. I was really happy to see this guy back. Hopefully they bring back the prop now. They really have to stop teasing us with putting these guys in just random places throughout the theming and stuff and their products and stuff. Just bring back the actual prop, please. Anyways, this is another great animation, really creepy with how he carves the smile onto the mirror. Really cool stuff. Overall, I like this walkthrough, but if I had one suggestion to give to Spirit Halloween, it would be to add a few twists and turns inside the walkthrough, like the 2019 theme. We really haven't seen a walkthrough that good since, I think. They've come close, I think, with this year especially, but I would really want to see something like 2019's walkthrough done again with actual screens. Forget the hologram fans, give us those screens again. I would love to see that, and add a few twists and turns. Overall, cool walkthrough, very cool animations on the hologram fans this year. And that is it for the Spirit Halloween 2024 Flagship Store grand opening.
All right, everybody, that is going to do it for the Spirit Halloween 2024 Flagship Store grand opening tour. Now, overall, I have to say, this year was really good from Spirit Halloween. I like the theme a lot. The animatronics were really cool in person. And overall, everything was great. So be sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment saying which was your favorite animatronic or part of the theme in the comments below. And remember, nobody outpixelates the pumpkin. And there he is in real life, right?
We got
there.
pixelated pumpkin